by IMA. So to begin with, I call Mr. Suresh Detalu sir, Mr. Rahul Srivastava sir, and Vishnu Srivastava to kindly come up on the stage. Mr. Detalu sir, he has 32 years of experience in low voltage switchgear. He also holds expertise in end-to-end quality assurance product certification for different standards marks, that is BIS, NF, CCC, and system certification, standardization and regulations for legal in India. He is also a member of technical committee of BIS, ETD 14, ETD 20, ETD 31, ETD 39, and also a member of MHI technical subcommittee meetings. We welcome you, sir. I request you to kindly come on the podium, sir, and deliver the presentation. Thank you so much. Please give a big round of applause. Mr. Rahul Srivastava, he is a accomplished technocrat with over 17 years of experience in the low voltage switchgear industry. He is having broad spectrum of experience in product management, new product development. He is also a key contributor in the field of lab accreditation, assessment, critical testing, and type testing. He is well-known figure in the International Electrotechnical Commission (IEC) community and active involvement in BIS ETD 07 and ETD 35. He is also a recipient of IEC 1906 award. This award is granted in recognition of exceptional recent individual achievement at IEC level. We welcome you, sir. So next, Mr. Vishnu Srivastava. He is an electrical engineer with an MBA from IIM Lucknow. He holds nearly 2 decades, 18 plus years of experience in commissioning of automation equipments like drive, PLC, SCADA, technical training on low, medium voltage switchgear. He's also taking care of business development and marketing and currently serving as an offer marketing leader at Schneider Electric. We welcome you, sir. Now I request Suresh Detalu sir to kindly deliver the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Respected dignitaries of today's function, BS Ology, DG CPRI, Shri Gaurav Joshi, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Heavy Industries, Shri Satish Chetwani, Director, ELDA, expert speakers, and esteemed participants. I am really happy, privileged, and honored to address the gathering at today's workshop on electrical equipment quality control order. I, along with my colleague Mr. Rahul Srivastava, Mr. Vishnu Srivastava, shall present you the review of quality control order, the evolution of the different outcomes of the working along with the MHI and BIS on different processes, challenges ahead, challenges faced, mitigations. We are aware that in the morning during the inaugural session, Mr. Nitin Rastogi and Mr. Kuril covered some of the points even during the vote of thanks and the review of the quality control order. But it was not really the intent to cover our presentation, but to put forward the urgency to review these things. So we are aware that the quality control order, it was initially issued in 2020 and it covers 8 standards. 60898 IS/IC 60898 has 8 series of standards. So it can be equated to 8 quality control orders. And considering the challenge, considering the vast scope of this quality control order, Ministry of Industries formulated a technical committee, a core committee, with which we work along with the different stakeholders, and then the process was evolved. Electrical equipment quality control order, even though it was released in 2020, which was subsequently amended, there was an extension, and second amendment came in 2024. However, the real work started at the end of 2023 because in between the work was impacted because of the COVID pandemic. There was a slowdown of the processes. There were less meetings. Of course, these because of the vast scope and the limited resources available in the lab. Initially, during working, it was estimated that if we go as it is for the implementation of quality control order, it would have taken more than 50 years for the implementation. So the need was felt to have the simplification, find out the solution, and that is how we, IMA core committee member collaborated with MHI and BIS to work on evolution of the solutions. Finally, it worked out to be, and then it resulted into release of the second amendment quality control order, which was not but the phase-wise implementation of each standard of IS/IC 6094 series of standard. So the quality control order, second amendment quality control order has the phase-wise implementation for -2, -3, -4. And -4, -5. So all the parts were having the stepwise implementation with the estimation of the timeline. When we recap and when we view the working of different stakeholders, these are the brief about the things which are available online. But to just brief you, the Bill of Indian standard evolved the guidelines for the scheme 10. Initially, the quality control order was released under scheme 2. Then scheme 10 was evolved along with MHI, and the detail of product manual, fee structure, guidelines, FMCG application clarification, they are all available on BS website. MHI worked on the release of the quality control order, then they have released some portion of the FAQs. Some portion of the FAQs were released by BS. Then awareness workshop, obviously it was under the leadership, even though IMA is organizing it, it was under the leadership of MHI and BSI. Yes. Subcommittee work along with all stakeholders for the evolution of the implementation process of the quality control order. Even though everything is available online, but implementation phase for the stakeholder or the applicant requires a planning. Why? Because MHI has given some of the tools to the applicant, and they are simplified guidelines, so they are available online. So there is a simplification of standards, selection of the samples, which sample to be selected. Lab realization, generally in other schemes of BIS, you are required to test the product in one lab only for all sequences. Whereas here the lab realization, you can utilize different lab depending on the load, depending on your convenience. Maybe one sequence can be tested in one lab, another sequence can be tested in another lab. So it allows the multiple lab users. Then one more point is there in the scheme 10 or also clarified by BIS that old report, if any, 5 years old, they can be considered for acceptance. So this use can also be done for planning the or BS certification. When we work on these different processes, we cannot say these are the challenges and mitigation, but they are the pointers. Because when we started working on the implementation phase of quality control order, along with the different stakeholders. So we were the one of the stakeholder. We can say we were the supporting stakeholder. Then we have some challenges and then mitigation. And there are the pointers. It is good to review this point because total implementation of quality control order is not over. It is still in progress. We can say it has just begun. So we can say we need to review the infrastructure gaps, insufficient testing facility for high demand of the certification requirement. So when we say insufficient infrastructure, it doesn't mean that today any labs has insufficient. They are insufficient considering the level of the load. Probably when we review this with labs or when we discuss with them, they are in the opinion they are not aware about the load. So it is both way that manufacturer has to project their load, accurate information about the testing which can be there in next 6 months or 1 year, so that labs can plan if they want to plan improvement in the infrastructure. Continuous lab equipment availability. We are aware that okay, the labs uses equipment and equipment and panel can go under breakdown, and we cannot say that it will never go, but it's the reality. Sometimes that there is a gap of 2 months or 3 months because of the breakdown, which is a real time example. So nobody can be blamed, but there was a for that period no testing. Technological gap. This we are suggesting that technological gap is we are having the portal for domestic BS application lab booking, but what we don't have, and when we review total time taken, we were discussing in the morning, the time taken for testing is 425 days, some say 1.5 months, and then the applicant say it has taken 3-4 months. When applicants say 3-4 months means it has taken from the day they decided to start testing and make an application. But significant time in some cases has gone in communication between labs and the applicant. So when you have to book the lab, you have to send the data, they will ask question, they will send the quotation, will again ask the question, then they will say it is 3 sample, 4 sample, and it will take long time. So what we suggest that if the lab adopt online, even though there is no portal, but online in their portal format, which can be foolproof, and the applicant will necessarily put the information and he will not make mistake. Or in the format, they can provide some information, how to fill the information, and then there will be no gaps. If you see both way, according to lab, there is a lack of information. They have not provided the sample. They have not provided the maybe advances. But from the applicant side, they are okay. They said that the labs has not provided this information. This can be a situation to avoid such discussion and delay. It will be better if you have online format. Even though having online system could be a long process, but online format you can have. So anybody, whether it's a foreign manufacturer or domestic, they can fill the information, data sheet. I'm talking about technical data sheet, and without which they will not be able to submit you the intent. It will ensure, it will save your time also, our time also, it will shorten the thing. Then human resource constraint. Normally, if we talk about the total ecosystem, in ecosystem, maybe the bottleneck was coming from the lab, and we suggest that the labs can adopt maybe their efficiency calculation in terms of OE, and OE is a general terminology used by any manufacturing or any testing location to indicate that what is the as against their standard time, the efficiency, overall equipment efficiency. I was discussing in the morning with Mr. Jatwani, and he was very happy to have such type of bargain. Imagine that CPRI, ERDA, or UL, they declare that their OE is 95%, which means that there is no delay, internal or loss of time in between. Then adaptation of the standard updates. Probably, if we are talking about lab accreditation for the as per the latest standard, sometimes it takes time, probably because they are applied, BS audit is waiting. But then for the applicant, it is the old standard. They cannot start testing. Even though BS was kind enough to confirm, that even they can start testing and the labs will issue the latest report. Then is certification timeline. Uh, FMCS and all these parts will be in detail will be covered by my colleagues. But one thing is that when we reduce the timeline from 50 years or 65 years to 3-4 years, there was one assumption. That assumption was that testing time was considered 12 days per series of the testing intake. But we know it has taken longer time. Even ERDA has presented shortest time 25 days. UL 1 month, CPRI similarly. So we request MHI to consider this point. This is the actual working available in fact sheet. That 12 days we are considering the number of samples, number of sake of the manufacturer, and there were only few. It's not exhaustive list. So please consider that because it is the reality. That 12 days were considered and we know what is the reality. When we take the overview of today's situation for Skipton, so this is the situation. Considering the 10th November 2024, the completion for 74. If this can be corrected, but fairly 1 week before this was studied by EMA with BIS and MHI. Then for foreign manufacturer, out of 5, only 3 are granted, 2 are still in process. So everywhere the picture is that we have, and we have also taken out the details of the total revenue which will be impacted by these licenses. So it is very huge. So we request your attention on this point, Gaurav Joshi sir. And this is not because see when at the beginning when you open the topic with IMA and the different manufacturer, everybody is keen for certification. But certification, there is a mandatory requirement that the testing will be conducted and by the BS approved lab. So we have to follow this process, and this is the situation. We don't say that somebody has fault. We are also at the maybe in delay, but this is not intentional delay. It is created by the situation and the system and information provided and is available. So that's all on the review on the thing. I request Mr. Rahul to take over further. Thank you.